The Nile River is a symbol of life. It flows for over 6,600 kilometers, making it the longest river in the world. For centuries, the Nile has provided sustenance to millions of people in 11 countries. From the Ethiopian highlands to the Mediterranean Sea, the river is a source of water for drinking, agriculture, and industry. Its fertile banks have cradled civilizations for millennia. The Nile is more than just a river, it is a lifeline. The Nile Basin is home to a diverse range of ecosystems. These ecosystems support a wealth of biodiversity. The river's annual floods have historically brought life to the surrounding lands. This natural irrigation cycle has allowed for agriculture to thrive. The Nile has shaped the history, culture, and economies of the countries it traverses. In recent decades, Ethiopia has embarked on an ambitious project, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or GERD. This mega dam, located on the Blue Nile, is set to be Africa's largest hydroelectric power plant upon completion. For Ethiopia, a nation striving for economic development, the GERD represents a beacon of hope. It promises to provide much-needed electricity to its growing population and boost industrial growth. The potential benefits of the GERD for Ethiopia are enormous. Hydropower is a clean and renewable source of energy. It can help to reduce Ethiopia's reliance on fossil fuels. The dam will also generate revenue by exporting electricity to neighboring countries. This influx of resources can be used to improve infrastructure and living standards in Ethiopia. The GERD is a bold statement of Ethiopia's determination to achieve energy independence and economic prosperity. While the GERD holds immense promise for Ethiopia, it has also become a source of tension with downstream countries, particularly Egypt and Sudan. Both nations rely heavily on the Nile for their water needs. The construction of the dam has raised concerns about potential reductions in water flow. Egypt, in particular, relies almost entirely on the Nile for its water supply. The country is already facing water scarcity. Any significant reduction in Nile flow could have severe consequences for its agriculture, industry, and population. Sudan, while also reliant on the Nile, has been more open to the GERD project. However, it remains concerned about the potential impact on its own water security, particularly during the dam's filling phase. Section 4. The unpredictable Nile. Drought and uncertainty. Adding to the complexity of the situation is the Nile's inherent variability. The river's flow is influenced by rainfall patterns in the Ethiopian highlands, which are becoming increasingly erratic due to climate change. Droughts in the region are not uncommon and can severely impact water availability downstream. The recent drought in East Africa, which has had devastating impacts on communities reliant on the Nile, serves as a stark reminder of the region's vulnerability to climate change. The combination of a changing climate and the GERD's operation introduces a level of uncertainty that requires careful management. Section 5. Seeking solutions. Science to the rescue. Despite the challenges, there is hope. Scientists and researchers are working on finding solutions that can help balance the need for hydropower generation with the imperative of water security for all countries in the Nile Basin. Recent studies have focused on optimizing the GERD's operations to minimize downstream impacts. One such study, led by Dr. Essam Heggy, proposes a more flexible approach to filling and operating the dam. By carefully coordinating the dam's operations with rainfall patterns and downstream water needs, it may be possible to mitigate the risks and ensure a more equitable distribution of water resources. Collaborative efforts, guided by scientific research and data-driven decision-making, offer the most promising path forward. By working together, the countries of the Nile Basin can turn a potential source of conflict into an opportunity for cooperation and shared prosperity. The future of the Nile depends on our collective wisdom and commitment to finding sustainable solutions. Welcome to For Science Salah Lotfy channel, where we explore research that impacts our world, bringing you the latest discoveries and innovations. Today, we spotlight a groundbreaking study addressing one of the most critical issues in Africa: the sustainable management of water and energy resources in the Nile Basin, a lifeline for millions.
Published in the prestigious Communications, Earth and Environment journal by Nature, this groundbreaking study explores the multifaceted impacts of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. The study is titled Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam can generate sustainable hydropower while minimizing downstream water deficit during prolonged droughts, highlighting its potential to balance energy production and water conservation. It's a collaborative effort by renowned scientists from international research institutions, showcasing the power of global cooperation in addressing critical environmental challenges.
The team includes Dr. Essam Heggy from the University of Southern California, a leading expert in planetary science and hydrology. He is also affiliated with the Jet Propulsion Laboratory at Caltech, where cutting-edge space research is conducted. Dr. Abotalib, also from USC, collaborates with Egypt's National Authority for Remote Sensing and Space Sciences, contributing his expertise in remote sensing. Dr. Jonggun Yu from Northern Michigan University brings valuable insights from his extensive research in environmental science. Dr. Emmanuel Hannert from UCLouvain in Belgium is renowned for his work in computational hydrodynamics and environmental modeling. Dr. Mohammed Rama, affiliated with both UCLouvain and Egypt's National Research Center, specializes in water resources management and sustainable development. In our next video, we'll dive deeper into the findings of this remarkable study. Make sure to subscribe to For Science Salah Lotfy channel and stay tuned for more insights into science that shapes our future.
The Nile River, the longest river in the world, courses through the heart of Africa. For millennia, its waters have been a source of life, sustenance, and civilization. From the ancient Egyptians who built their empire on its banks to the modern-day communities that rely on it for agriculture, the Nile's significance is undeniable. It is a lifeline for millions, connecting 11 countries across its vast basin. The Nile is more than just a source of water. It is a symbol of unity, a shared resource that binds nations together. Its fertile banks have cradled civilizations, witnessed the rise and fall of empires, and continue to nourish a vibrant tapestry of cultures. The river's annual floods, once predictable and life-giving, brought fertile silt that enriched the soil. This natural irrigation system allowed for agricultural surplus, leading to the development of complex societies and the flourishing of art, science, and culture. The Nile's rhythm shaped the lives of those who lived along its banks, dictating the cycles of planting and harvest. The Nile, however, is also a river of extremes. Its flow has always been variable, prone to both droughts and floods. These natural fluctuations have shaped the relationship between the river and its people, leading to periods of abundance and times of scarcity. Climate change is exacerbating these challenges. Rising temperatures and shifting weather patterns are altering the Nile's hydrology. This variability poses significant risks to water security, agriculture, and livelihoods throughout the basin. The impacts of climate change are already being felt. Droughts are becoming more frequent and severe, while floods are becoming more unpredictable and destructive. These extreme events threaten to undermine decades of development progress and push millions further into poverty. Understanding the Nile's complex hydrology and the impacts of climate change is crucial for effective water management. This knowledge is essential for developing sustainable solutions that ensure equitable access to water resources for all who depend on the Nile. Megadams, like the Aswan High Dam in Egypt and the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, under construction in Ethiopia, are ambitious engineering projects with the potential to transform the Nile Basin. These structures offer tantalizing promises of hydropower generation, irrigation expansion, and flood control. However, such massive interventions in the river's natural flow come with significant ecological and social consequences. The construction and operation of megadams can alter downstream water availability, sediment flow, and aquatic ecosystems. The Aswan High Dam, completed in 1970, provides a stark example of the trade-offs associated with large-scale dam projects. While it has provided Egypt with hydropower and flood control, it has also led to coastal erosion, soil salinization, and changes in fish populations. The GERD, upon completion, will be the largest hydroelectric dam in Africa. Its impact on the Nile's flow and the downstream countries of Sudan and Egypt has been a source of intense regional debate and diplomatic tension. The GERD, a symbol of national pride and ambition for Ethiopia, holds the promise of transforming the country's economy and energy future. With a planned generating capacity of over 6,000 megawatts, the dam has the potential to double Ethiopia's electricity production. This surge in power generation is expected to fuel industrial growth, create jobs and improve living standards for millions of Ethiopians. The dam's reservoir, with a capacity of over 74 billion cubic meters, also offers opportunities for irrigation expansion, potentially boosting agricultural productivity. Beyond Ethiopia, the GERD has the potential to benefit other Nile Basin countries through electricity trading and improved water management cooperation. By regulating the Nile's flow, the dam could help mitigate the impacts of droughts and floods, enhancing regional water security. The successful completion and operation of the GERD, however, hinges on addressing the concerns of downstream countries and establishing a robust cooperative framework for managing the Nile's waters. Section 5. Downstream concerns drought and uncertainty. While the GERD offers potential benefits, its construction has raised concerns among downstream countries, particularly Egypt and Sudan, about potential disruptions to their water supply. Of particular concern is the dam's filling process and its potential impact on downstream water availability, especially during prolonged droughts. The Nile's flow is already under stress from climate change, and any further reduction could have severe consequences for agriculture, industry, and human well-being. Egypt, heavily reliant on the Nile for its water needs, has expressed concerns that the GERD's filling could reduce water availability, impacting its agricultural sector and leading to economic hardship. Sudan, while acknowledging the potential benefits of the GERD for hydropower generation, has also raised concerns about the dam's safety and its potential impact on its own dams. Addressing these concerns requires transparent data sharing, robust scientific analysis, and a commitment to finding mutually acceptable solutions that ensure the equitable sharing of the Nile's waters. Section 6. Navigating drought research and mitigation strategies. Recent research has focused on developing drought mitigation policies for the GERD. These studies aim to identify operational strategies that minimize the negative impacts of drought on downstream countries while maximizing the dam's benefits. One promising approach involves coordinating the GERD's operations with the releases from the Aswan High Dam. By strategically managing water releases from both dams, it may be possible to mitigate the impacts of drought and ensure a more reliable water supply for all riparian countries. Other research focuses on improving drought forecasting systems, enhancing agricultural water use efficiency, and developing alternative water sources. These measures are crucial for building resilience to climate change and ensuring sustainable water management in the Nile Basin. The success of these mitigation strategies depends on open communication, data sharing, and a willingness to compromise among all riparian countries. Section 7. A shared river, a shared future. The need for cooperation. The Nile River, a source of life and prosperity for millions, presents a unique challenge and opportunity for the countries that share its waters. The construction of megadams like the GERD has brought to the forefront the need for a cooperative framework for managing this vital resource. A sustainable future for the Nile Basin hinges on the ability of riparian countries to move beyond historical tensions and embrace a spirit of cooperation. This requires recognizing the interconnectedness of the Nile's ecosystem and the shared responsibility for its stewardship. A cooperative framework should prioritize the following: equitable water allocation, ensuring that all riparian countries have access to a fair share of the Nile's waters, taking into account their respective needs and historical usage patterns; joint drought management, developing coordinated strategies for mitigating the impacts of drought, including water conservation measures, drought-resistant crops, and early warning systems; and environmental protection, safeguarding the ecological integrity of the Nile River, including its biodiversity, fisheries, and downstream ecosystems. Section 8. The stakes: people, prosperity, and the planet. The stakes involved in managing the Nile River's resources are incredibly high. The river's waters are essential for the livelihoods of millions of people, supporting agriculture, industry, and human well-being. Mismanagement of the Nile could lead to water scarcity, food insecurity, economic decline, and social unrest. Conversely, collaborative management offers the promise of shared prosperity, regional stability, and a more sustainable future. The decisions made today regarding the GERD and other water infrastructure projects will have far-reaching consequences for generations to come. It is imperative that these decisions are made with the utmost care, guided by science, informed by the needs of all stakeholders, and driven by a shared commitment to sustainability. Section 9, conclusion, a call for collaborative stewardship. The Nile River, a symbol of life and resilience, stands at a crossroads. The challenges posed by climate change, population growth, and increasing water demand require a fundamental shift in how we manage this precious resource. The era of unilateral development on the Nile is over. The future lies in collaborative stewardship, where riparian countries work together to ensure the equitable and sustainable management of the river's waters for the benefit of all. The GERD, a symbol of ambition and progress, can be a catalyst for this much-needed cooperation. By embracing a spirit of dialogue, transparency, and shared responsibility, the Nile Basin countries can transform the challenges of the GERD into an opportunity for lasting peace and prosperity. The time for action is now. Let us rise to the challenge and ensure that the Nile River, the lifeblood of Africa, continues to flow for generations to come. The Blue Nile, a lifeline snaking through the Ethiopian highlands, is now home to an engineering marvel, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or GERD. This colossal structure, set to be Africa's largest hydroelectric dam, promises to illuminate millions of homes and fuel Ethiopia's development. But its construction has also ignited anxieties downstream, particularly in Egypt, a nation inextricably linked to the Nile's flow. The heart of the matter lies in water, a precious resource, especially in arid regions. Egypt, heavily reliant on the Nile for its very survival, fears that the GERD could disrupt its water security, particularly during periods of drought. The Nile, a source of life and prosperity for millennia, is now a stage for a delicate balancing act between development and sustainability. As the GERD nears completion, the world watches, hoping for a resolution that ensures both progress and cooperation. The year 2024 marks a pivotal moment in the GERD saga. The dam's massive reservoir, capable of holding back a volume of water greater than the entire Nile flow in a dry year, is in its final stages of filling. This process, carefully orchestrated to minimize downstream impacts, involves holding back billions of cubic meters of water annually. This delicate operation, while essential for the dam's operation, has become a focal point of contention. Downstream countries, particularly Egypt, are closely monitoring the filling schedule, wary of any sudden drops in water levels that could impact their own water security. The speed and timing of the filling process are crucial. Too fast and it could exacerbate drought conditions downstream. Too slow and it could delay Ethiopia's ambitious energy production goals. Finding the right balance, a pace that satisfies both Ethiopia's energy needs and downstream concerns, is paramount. This intricate dance of water management, with its high stakes and potential for both cooperation and conflict, is a testament to the complexities of transboundary water resources. Downstream from the GERD, the Nile's waters eventually reach another engineering marvel, the Aswan High Dam, a symbol of Egyptian ingenuity and a cornerstone of its water security. This imposing structure, completed in 1970, tamed the Nile's once unpredictable floods, providing Egypt with a reliable source of water for irrigation and hydropower. However, the Aswan High Dam is not immune to the impacts of upstream activities. Its reservoir, Lake Nasser, a vast expanse of water visible from space, depends on the uninterrupted flow of the Nile. Any significant reduction in flow, particularly during times of drought, could have dire consequences for Egypt's water supply. Droughts, a recurring threat in this arid region, weigh heavily on the minds of Egyptian policymakers. The spectre of water scarcity, with its potential to disrupt agriculture, industry, and even social stability, looms large. The GERD, with its potential to alter the Nile's flow regime, has amplified these concerns. Faced with the ever-present threat of drought and the uncertainties posed by the GERD, Egypt has developed a comprehensive drought management policy. This intricate plan, a testament to the country's reliance on the Nile, outlines a series of measures designed to conserve water and mitigate the impacts of scarcity. At the heart of this policy lies a critical threshold, the level of water stored in Lake Nasser. If the water level drops below a predetermined point, signaling a potential drought, a cascade of pre-planned measures is triggered. These measures, carefully calibrated to balance water needs with available supply, range from reducing agricultural water allocations to implementing public awareness campaigns promoting water conservation. Egypt's drought management policy, a product of careful planning and a deep understanding of the Nile's dynamics, is a lifeline in times of scarcity. Its effectiveness, however, hinges on a predictable and cooperative water management regime upstream. Section 5. Modeling the future, simulating water levels and energy. To better understand the complex interplay between the GERD, the Aswan High Dam, and the vagaries of the Nile's flow, scientists and engineers have turned to sophisticated computer models. These virtual representations of the river basin, incorporating data on rainfall, evaporation, and dam operations, allow researchers to simulate different scenarios and assess their potential impacts. By adjusting variables such as the timing and rate of GERD's reservoir filling or the operation of the Aswan High Dam, these models provide valuable insights into the potential consequences of different management decisions. These simulations, while not perfect predictions of the future, offer a powerful tool for informed decision-making. They allow water managers to explore a range of what-if scenarios, helping them anticipate potential challenges and identify strategies to mitigate risks. The insights gleaned from these models are crucial for navigating the uncertainties of the Nile's future, particularly in the context of climate change and increasing water demands. Section 6. Lessons from the past, historical droughts and GERD's impact. The Nile, despite its image as a mighty and unceasing river, has a history punctuated by periods of drought. These dry spells, some lasting for years, have left their mark on the region, shaping its history and influencing its development. By studying these past droughts, researchers can gain valuable insights into the Nile's natural variability and its vulnerability to prolonged dry periods. These historical records serve as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of water scarcity and highlight the need for proactive drought management. In the context of the GERD, understanding the impacts of past droughts is particularly crucial. By analyzing how the Nile's flow was affected during these dry periods, researchers can assess how the dam's operation might exacerbate or mitigate drought conditions downstream. These lessons from the past, etched in the geological and historical record of the Nile Basin, serve as a guide for navigating the challenges of the future. Section 7. Key findings, a tapestry of research and perspectives. Years of research, countless simulations, and a multitude of perspectives have yielded a complex tapestry of findings regarding the GERD and its potential impacts. While uncertainties remain, some key insights have emerged, shedding light on the dam's potential influence on the Nile's flow and the lives it sustains. Studies have shown that the GERD's operation, particularly during its initial filling phase, will inevitably lead to a reduction in the Nile's flow downstream. The extent of this reduction, however, remains a subject of debate, with different models and assumptions yielding varying results. Crucially, research suggests that with careful management and coordination, the GERD's negative impacts can be minimized. Cooperative operation of the dam, involving the exchange of data and joint decision-making, is essential to ensure a more equitable and sustainable distribution of the Nile's waters. The findings, though diverse and sometimes conflicting, underscore the need for continued research, open dialogue, and a shared commitment to finding solutions that benefit all stakeholders. Section 8. The path forward. Coordinated management for a shared resource. The Nile River, flowing through 11 countries, stands as a powerful symbol of interconnectedness. Its waters, a source of life for millions, transcend political boundaries, highlighting the need for cooperation and shared responsibility. The GERD, while a testament to Ethiopia's development aspirations, has also brought to the fore the complexities of managing a shared resource. Its operation, with its potential to impact downstream countries, necessitates a collaborative approach, one that prioritizes dialogue, transparency, and mutual understanding. Coordinated management of the Nile's waters requires more than just technical solutions. It demands a fundamental shift in perspective. It requires recognizing the Nile not as a collection of separate segments, but as a single interconnected system, where actions taken upstream have consequences downstream. This collaborative approach, embodied in joint data sharing, coordinated dam operation, and a shared commitment to equitable water allocation, is not just desirable but essential for the long-term sustainability of the Nile Basin. Section 9. The Nile's uncertain future, a call for cooperation. The Nile River, a lifeline for centuries, now faces an uncertain future. Climate change, with its potential to disrupt rainfall patterns and increase the frequency of extreme events, adds another layer of complexity to an already delicate situation. The GERD, while offering the promise of renewable energy and economic development, also presents a challenge: how to balance these aspirations with the need to protect the Nile's fragile ecosystem and ensure water security for all. The path forward lies in cooperation. The Nile Basin countries, bound by a shared destiny, must work together to address the challenges of water scarcity, climate change, and increasing demands. This requires a commitment to dialogue, a willingness to compromise, and a shared vision for a future where the Nile River continues to be a source of life, prosperity, and cooperation for generations to come. The Nile River is a lifeline for millions. Flowing through 11 countries, it provides water for drinking, farming, and industry. Two major dams stand as testaments to human ingenuity: the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, and the Aswan High Dam, AHD. The GERD promises clean energy for Ethiopia. The AHD ensures water security for Egypt. These dams are linked, requiring cooperation. Managing the Nile's resources is a complex challenge. The Nile Basin is a tapestry of diverse cultures and ecosystems. From Ethiopia's highlands to Egypt's plains, the Nile sustains life. Balancing the needs of all who depend on this Nile requires understanding and compromise. We are all stewards of this precious resource. The Nile has witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. Today, it stands as a testament to the interconnectedness of nations. How we manage this shared resource will determine the region's future prosperity and stability. This delicate balance is now at the forefront of discussions as Ethiopia moves forward with the GERD. While promising economic benefits for Ethiopia and clean energy production, the dam's operation has raised concerns downstream, particularly in Egypt, which relies heavily on the Nile for its water supply. Drought, a recurring spectre in the Nile Basin, presents a significant challenge to water management and regional stability. Characterized by prolonged periods of below-average rainfall, droughts impact agriculture, industry, and livelihoods. This study defines a prolonged drought as when the AHD water level falls below 165 meters. This threshold, 78 billion cubic meters, is crucial for drought mitigation strategies. It provides a measurable benchmark for understanding drought severity in the Nile Basin. The GERD stands as a beacon of progress, promising to generate much-needed electricity for Ethiopia and beyond. However, this ambition must be balanced against the potential impacts on downstream countries, particularly Egypt, which relies heavily on the Nile for its water supply. The challenge lies in maximizing hydropower generation at the GERD while ensuring water security for all nations sharing the Nile. Operational decisions regarding the GERD's water release have significant implications for the AHD and Egypt's water security. During periods of abundant rainfall, the GERD can operate at full capacity without significantly affecting downstream flow. However, during droughts, the need to conserve water for downstream use might necessitate adjusting the GERD's operation, potentially impacting its power generation capacity. This delicate balance between energy production and water security requires careful planning, transparent communication, and a spirit of cooperation among all riparian countries. Finding a solution that benefits all parties involved requires a delicate balancing act, ensuring that the GERD contributes to regional development without jeopardizing the water resources upon which millions depend. Section 4. 7 Strategies for Sharing the Nile. To navigate the complexities of managing the Nile's water resources, researchers have simulated 7 different operating policies for the GERD. These policies represent a range of approaches, from maximizing hydropower generation to prioritizing downstream water release. Each policy carries its own set of trade-offs, highlighting the need for careful consideration and consensus among stakeholders. Some policies prioritize filling the GERD's reservoir as quickly as possible to maximize hydropower generation, even if it means reducing downstream flow temporarily. Others advocate for a more gradual filling approach, balancing the need for energy production with the importance of maintaining consistent water levels downstream. The choice of operating policy has far-reaching implications, affecting not only hydropower generation but also irrigation, industry, and the livelihoods of millions. Understanding the potential outcomes of these different policies is crucial for informed decision-making. By modeling various scenarios, we can anticipate potential challenges and identify the most equitable and sustainable approach for managing the Nile's waters. These 7 policies represent a spectrum of possible approaches, each with its own set of advantages and disadvantages. By carefully evaluating the potential impacts of each policy, we can move towards a cooperative framework that balances the needs of all stakeholders. Section 5. The cost of cooperation. Managing a shared resource like the Nile requires cooperation and, at times, compromise. While maximizing hydropower generation at the GERD is a priority for Ethiopia, it's essential to consider the potential costs incurred by downstream countries, particularly during droughts. Compensatory mechanisms and economic incentives can foster cooperation and ensure equitable burden sharing among Nile Basin nations. For instance, if the GERD's operation leads to reduced hydropower generation at the AHD during a drought, financial compensation could be provided to offset the economic losses. Such mechanisms, if implemented fairly and transparently, can help mitigate the downstream impacts of the GERD and foster a spirit of cooperation among riparian countries. Cooperation comes at a cost, but the alternative conflict over scarce resources carries a far greater price. By acknowledging the interconnectedness of the Nile Basin and establishing mechanisms for shared responsibility, we can pave the way for a more sustainable and prosperous future for all. Section 6. GERD, an engineering perspective. The GERD, an engineering marvel, generates vast amounts of clean energy. Its capacity depends on the Nile's natural flow. Full power output is limited to peak flow months, July to September. This raises questions about efficiency and cost-effectiveness. Some argue smaller dams could offer similar output at lower cost. The decision reflects engineering, political, and economic factors. Understanding GERD's limitations is crucial for realistic expectations. Acknowledging these limitations helps explore sustainable solutions. Section 7. Towards a sustainable future for the Nile. The GERD and AHD stand as symbols of both the promise and the challenges of managing a shared resource like the Nile River. Finding a balance between hydropower generation, water security, and ecological sustainability requires a collaborative approach, guided by scientific evidence, transparent communication, and a shared vision for the future. Establishing a basin-wide monitoring and data-sharing platform can enhance transparency and build trust among riparian countries. Jointly developing drought contingency plans and early warning systems can help mitigate the impacts of climate variability and extreme events. Investing in water-efficient technologies and promoting sustainable agricultural practices can help optimize water use and reduce the overall demand on the Nile's resources. The Nile River, a source of life and inspiration for millennia, calls upon us to embrace a future where cooperation triumphs over competition. By working together, we can ensure that this precious resource continues to sustain generations to come. The Nile River, a lifeline for millions, courses through the heart of Africa. It sustains life, irrigates fields, and powers homes. This mighty river, however, faces a challenge managing its precious water among the nations it traverses. This is particularly true for the eastern Nile Basin, shared by Ethiopia, Sudan, and Egypt. Each country relies on the Nile for its development and well-being. Ethiopia's Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, a symbol of progress, aims to provide much-needed electricity. But its construction has raised concerns about potential impacts on downstream water availability. This is where the Eastern Nile Riverware model, ENRM, comes in. The ENRM is a sophisticated tool. It helps us understand the complex dynamics of the Nile. This model allows us to simulate different scenarios. We can see how GERD operations might affect the river's flow. This information is crucial for ensuring water security for all. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, we find celestial bodies locked in a delicate gravitational dance. Similarly, the nations of the Nile Basin must find harmony in managing their shared water resources. The fate of millions hangs in the balance, a stark reminder of our interconnectedness on this pale blue dot we call Earth. Imagine a digital twin of the Nile River, its flow captured in lines of code and algorithms. That's essentially what the ENRM is. It's a powerful computer model that simulates the river's behavior. This model takes into account rainfall, evaporation, dam operations, and water use. The ENRM is not static. It's constantly being refined and updated with new data. This ensures that the model remains an accurate reflection of the real-world Nile. One of the key updates to the ENRM is the incorporation of the GERD. The model now accounts for the dam's massive reservoir and its potential impact on downstream flows. This updated model is an essential tool for decision makers. It allows them to explore different management strategies. By simulating various scenarios, they can identify the most sustainable ways to operate the GERD. The Nile River, while mighty, is not immune to the vagaries of nature. Droughts, periods of significantly reduced rainfall, have plagued the basin throughout history. Understanding how the Nile behaves during these dry spells is critical for managing the river effectively. The ENRM allows us to simulate drought conditions on the Nile. By inputting historical drought data, we can see how the river responds to prolonged periods of low rainfall. These simulations are essential for evaluating the resilience of the Nile Basin to drought. They help us understand how different management strategies might mitigate the impacts of water scarcity. The ENRM simulations provide valuable insights. They highlight the need for proactive drought preparedness. They emphasize the importance of collaborative water management during times of scarcity. Section 4 GERD operations, balancing energy and equity. The GERD represents a bold step towards energy independence for Ethiopia. The dam has the potential to generate vast amounts of electricity. This would power homes, industries, and fuel economic growth. However, the GERD's operation must be carefully managed. This is to ensure that it doesn't negatively impact downstream countries. Balancing Ethiopia's energy needs with the water security of Sudan and Egypt is a delicate balancing act. The ENRM plays a crucial role in finding this balance. By simulating different GERD operating rules, we can identify strategies that maximize energy production while minimizing downstream impacts. These simulations take into account various factors. These include the rate of filling the GERD's reservoir, the timing and volume of water releases, and the downstream demand for water. Section 5. Policy options. Navigating competing needs. The NRM allows us to test different policy options for managing the GERD. These policies dictate how the dam is operated, particularly during times of drought. They determine how much water is released downstream and when. One policy option focuses on maximizing hydropower generation. This would involve filling the GERD's reservoir as quickly as possible and prioritizing electricity production. Another policy option prioritizes downstream water security. This might involve releasing more water from the GERD's reservoir during dry periods, even if it means reducing hydropower output. The ENRM helps us evaluate the trade-offs associated with each policy option. It provides a quantitative basis for informed decision-making. Ultimately, the goal is to find a policy that balances competing needs. This policy would ensure Ethiopia's energy security while safeguarding the water resources of Sudan and Egypt. Section 6. Key findings, insights from the ENRM. The ENRM simulations provide valuable insights into the potential impacts of the GERD. They highlight the importance of adaptive management strategies. These strategies adjust dam operations based on real-time hydrological conditions. One key finding is that the GERD can generate significant amounts of hydropower even during drought periods. This is achieved by carefully managing the dam's reservoir levels and water releases. Another key finding is that downstream water deficits can be mitigated through cooperative water management. This involves coordinating water releases from the GERD with the operation of other dams in the Nile Basin. The NRM simulations underscore the need for data sharing and transparency among the Nile Basin countries. This information is crucial for building trust and facilitating effective water management. The findings also highlight the importance of investing in water conservation and efficiency measures. These measures can help reduce the overall demand for water, making the basin more resilient to drought. Section 7, towards a water-secure future, cooperation and innovation. The ENRM is more than just a computer model. It's a tool for building cooperation and fostering dialogue among the Nile Basin countries. By providing a shared understanding of the river's dynamics, the ENRM can help bridge differences and facilitate collaborative water management. Addressing the challenges of water scarcity in the Nile Basin requires a multifaceted approach. This includes strengthening regional cooperation, establishing joint mechanisms for water management, data sharing and drought preparedness, investing in water infrastructure, modernizing irrigation systems, improving water storage capacity and developing drought-resistant crops, and promoting water conservation and efficiency, implementing water-saving technologies, raising awareness about water conservation, and pricing water appropriately. The ENRM can support these efforts by providing the scientific basis for informed decision-making. It can help identify the most effective strategies for achieving water security in the Nile Basin. The future of the Nile River depends on the collective actions of all riparian countries. By working together, guided by science and a shared vision of a water-secure future, the nations of the Nile Basin can ensure that this vital resource continues to sustain life and prosperity for generations to come.
Today, as we conclude our discussion on this groundbreaking research, we want to take a moment to acknowledge the exceptional efforts of the researchers whose work sheds light on one of the most pressing issues of our time: water and energy management in the Nile Basin. This groundbreaking study, titled Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, A Path to Sustainable Hydropower, explores the potential of the dam to generate renewable energy while simultaneously minimizing the water deficit downstream during prolonged periods of drought. The research highlights the delicate balance required to manage water resources effectively, and was a collaborative effort involving experts from leading institutions around the world. These researchers brought together their diverse expertise to address the multifaceted challenges posed by the dam. Their dedication to understanding and mitigating the potential impacts of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam on downstream nations is truly commendable. They have worked tirelessly to ensure that the benefits of the dam are maximized while minimizing any adverse effects. This study stands as a testament to the power of international collaboration in solving complex environmental issues. A special thank you to all the dedicated researchers who have contributed immensely to our understanding of water resources and hydropower management. Dr. Essam Heggy from the University of Southern California and Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Your pioneering work in planetary science and water resource management has been invaluable. Dr. Abotalib Z. Abotalib from USC and the National Authority for Remote Sensing and Space Sciences in Cairo. Your research on remote sensing and its applications in hydrology has opened new avenues for sustainable water management. Dr. Jonggun Yu from Northern Michigan University. Your insights into environmental policy and water governance have been crucial in shaping effective management strategies. Dr. Emmanuel Hannert from UCLouvain in Belgium. Your innovative approaches in hydrodynamic modeling have significantly advanced our understanding of water systems. Dr. Mohammed Rama from UCLouvain and the National Research Center in Egypt. Your contributions to water quality assessment and management are highly appreciated. Your research has provided critical insights into balancing hydropower generation and water security, helping bridge gaps between stakeholders in the Nile Basin. The collaborative efforts and innovative solutions proposed by each of you have been instrumental in addressing the complex challenges faced in this region. We are deeply grateful for your dedication and hard work. This study highlights the importance of collaborative solutions, innovative policies, and a shared commitment to sustainability. It's a testament to the power of science in addressing global challenges and finding actionable solutions for the future. Thank you for joining us today on For Science Salah Lotfy channel. We are thrilled to have you with us on this journey of discovery and innovation. We encourage you to stay with us as we continue to explore the fascinating world of science that shapes our everyday lives. From groundbreaking research to the latest technological advancements, we cover it all. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps us bring you the content you love and keeps our community thriving. Together, let's celebrate the brilliance of science and its ability to drive positive change. Join us in our mission to inspire curiosity, foster innovation, and create a better future for all.